Krishna Rudidandapnam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Are you feeling better, Prabhu?
Yeah, I'm somewhat better. Thank you. Yesterday I was not sure, but today I'm okay. So yeah, let us start, not wait if anybody joins later. It's okay. So I will share the screen that we can summarize. So we're on the 15th chapter. That is called rules. That is called the instructions for civilized human beings. So now we have this Bhagavata Bodhini quick summary to remember what was dealt here. Narada Muni is continuing with his instructions for grihastas, those in family life, and many details for performing different rituals and sacrifice he's giving. At the beginning of this chapter, we hear about different types of brahmanas and a different qualification of these brahmanas. So we have karmanishta brahmanas who are fixed in part of on the part of karma, performing yagyas. Then taponishta, who are actually vanaprasthas, who are fixed in initiations. Svadhyayanishta, those who do the study, who study Vedic literatures, mostly these are brahmacharis, and then jnananishtas, renunciates or sannyasis. And then the question was to him whom to give the charity, because every ritual sacrifice is not complete unless you give a charity. So there are different prescriptions to whom to give the charity. Out of these four that we have listed, Jnananishta is considered the superior, the most, the highest. So we should give them charity first. If they are not available, then you can go to other three types and give them charity. But actually, these are not the rules for devotees. These are also normal people in Varnashrama who are not really practicing devotees. Practicing devotee, of course, you're not going to give charity to Jnananishta or Karmanishta Brahmanas or any this sort of people. You want to give charity to devotees, and preferably to advanced devotees, not to some sort of smart Vedic Brahmanas, whether they are Jnananishta or Karmanishta. And then inviting Brahmanas while doing these rituals, how many one should invite, 2 or 3, or it said later that even 1 will suffice. So this is some considerations, and no need to invite more. We discussed if you invite too many, you won't be able to serve them nicely, and you won't be able to satisfy them, and you might even commit offenses. And then they should be offered prasad of the deity, not bhoga, but prasad of the deity, Krishna prasadam or Vishnu prasadam. And one should never offer untouchable things like meat, fish, and eggs. One should give up all violence and envy towards other living entities. And eventually, one who is sufficiently advanced, he will leave this part of karma. He will give up this part of karma. And now we just came to the shloka 10 that we are going to read here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shlaka Chakshokundalitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dravya Yagir Yakshamanam Drishtva bhutani bibyati Eshamakharuno hanyad attajgyo hyasautribdruvam. Translation. Upon seeing the person engaged in performing the sacrifice, animals meant to be sacrificed extremely afraid, thinking, this merciless performer of sacrifices, being ignorant of the purpose of sacrifice, and being most satisfied by killing others, will surely kill us. See, animals, they can also think, especially when they're in such a dangerous position, ready to be sacrificed. Purport. Animal sacrifice in the name of religion is current practically all over the world in every established religion. It is said that Lord Jesus Christ, when 12 years old, was shocked to see the Jews sacrificing birds and animals in the synagogues, and he therefore rejected the Jewish system of religion and started the religious system of Christianity, adhering to the Old Testament commandment, thou shalt not kill. At the present day, however, not only are animals killed in the name of sacrifice, but the killing of animals has increased enormously because of the increasing number of slaughterhouses. Slaughtering animals, either for religion or for food, is most abominable and is condemned herein. Unless one is merciless, one cannot sacrifice animals, either in the name of religion or for food. Vishnachari Thakur, this cruel person who does not know the truth about Atma will kill me. Shruti says, Natham vidhata ima jajannanyad yushmakam antaram babhuvani harena pravritta jalpyash ukta shashas charanti. You do not know the person who has produced these creatures, who dwells within you and surrounded by ignorance, uttering mantras to maintain themselves. The priests carry out their actions. This is from Rig Veda, interesting. So obviously in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, you have some instruction for where animals can be sacrificed. So it's there in the Vedas also, but it's very limited and restricted, and there are certain rules and regulations, and those who do it, they also chant the mantra, now I'm killing this animal, but that animal will also kill me. There's some certain mantras for the one who is doing the sacrifice to understand that actually he will suffer for this. It's not that because he is now sacrificing because he's sacrificing animals that he'll be rewarded. No, he will be actually punished. He might get temporary material result of his sacrifice, but he'll be also punished. So it's not only in a Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, but it's also in other religions, like in Prabhupada mentioned here in Judaism, Jewish system of religion. Yeah, they had animal sacrifice there, and even nowadays, I think they do. I think that not so long ago, some years ago, Israel, the state of Israel, who is the main state behind this Jewish system of religion, they imported some special red bulls. They have somewhere in the scripture some prophecy. Once these special red cows or bulls sacrificed, then the new world for Jewish people will come. The heaven will come from the heaven or something like this. They have some sort of prophecy, so that's why they had to find these Red Bulls that were very, very actually difficult and rare to find. So they imported them from America, from here, from there. I don't know if they already sacrificed them, but whatever they're doing, it's just it's hellish mentality. It's not going to bring happiness to Jews, to state of Israel, to anybody. And what we have there in that part of the world is constant slaughter, and not only of animals, but slaughter of men. In the southern part of that occupied Gaza place, in the last couple of years, 60,000 innocent people were mostly slaughtered by I don't want to say whom, because it's also a political thing, but they were slaughtered, and now even some countries are, cutting the ties with Israel, saying, Israel is doing genocide. Uh, so whatever this system of religion is, it's a complete kaitava dharma, complete cheating system of religion, because it's just slaughtering others. It has nothing really to do with the religion, and nothing to do with God, and certainly no God is behind the system of religion. It's just quoting complete materialism, very gross materialism, quoting it with religious, a religious quote. And of course, Christianity also. Of course, in Hinduism, we have, Durga worshippers, what they do. They also, offer goats and this and that. At least they don't offer cows, I think. And then in Korea or China, where it was, they on certain day in the year, they slaughter many dogs. They offer the dogs. So it's a common blind practice in many religions, which is leading only to misfortune to those who participate in it.
Prabhu, can I ask
Yes,
a question? It's just a slight observation, slightly off point, but relevant to the discussion. So, of the Ten Commandments were originally actually a Jewish thing, isn't it? Because the Ten Commandments are actually Moses, and Moses was Jewish. Now, in that, I mean, the commandment is "Thou shalt not kill." It's very clear. It doesn't say "Thou shalt not kill man." It just says "Thou shalt not kill." So
yeah.
that's kind of applicable to anything, presumably. Yet, I think the Jewish community do, as you just pointed out, kill. And also, Jesus Christ also used to eat fish, no? I mean, isn't there a story behind him eating fish and distributing fish or something?
And that's not really clear, because the New Testament was written much later, and much later after Jesus going away. But whether he ate fish or sometimes it's also translation from the old, whatever the language was there, old Greek translation. Meat also. I read that word that was later translated as meat in English actually had a completely different meaning. Had few different meanings in original Hebrew, different meanings, and only one meaning was meat. Another meaning was dry fruit, and this and that. So we cannot really say, because it was so long ago and it was not well documented, and there are not many, first witnesses at that time when the Jesus was there. Even these apostles, some of them, never actually, were present at the time when the Jesus was there doing all these things. It's very difficult to say. We can only speculate, but we see that the practices, they completely degenerated, completely, whatever we can accept. Prabhupada accepted Jesus as Son of God, and he was actually also, I think, some conversation. Prabhupada was arguing that thou shall not kill means anybody, any living entity, but somehow they interpreted it as only human beings. Somehow they don't consider that animals. They understood it as one should not commit a murder, which refers only to human beings. So it's again language interpretation and translations from Hebrew or Greek or this language and that language. It's a lot of misinterpretation and speculation over the centuries can be there. So it's very difficult to say what that was originally, but we know that whatever we have now is just not right. It's just not right. But who will convince anybody? They'll have to experience themselves the bad reactions. Yeah, this is how much I can say, Prabhu. If you have anything else.
Just one other clarification, just out of interest. Sorry, it's just because the text came up, and the in the Jewish history, it doesn't, when they were enslaved by the Egyptians or whatever it was, wasn't it that there was a voice of God that said for all the houses of the Jews to be marked by the blood of sheep with something, so those houses will be spared by the I don't know, whatever it was, it was some sort of plague that happened, and those houses that were marked, the Jewish houses that were marked with blood of a sheep, were spared. Was it something like that? I think.
I never really studied or read that Old Testament, maybe just some parts here and there. But what I heard from some devotees that it's a very, very strange scripture, that Old Testament, and many things there are really, really strange, and we cannot really take it that it's coming from God. And supposedly Jesus came after that to reform that perverted system of religion that they had. And the Old Testament or Torah or whatever Jews had as the scriptures was completely, corrupted and perverted and not really coming from God. That's why Jesus came and gave the basics, very basics of, moral, pious life, and some idea of love of God. He also gave some basic rudimentary ideas of devotion and bhakti. He gave with the basic moral rules. So thou shalt not kill and do other sinful activities. Yeah, I would not vouch for any of these scriptures before the Bible. Whatever they said, it's it should not be accepted. Neither these scriptures should really be accepted as bona fide scriptures coming from any disciple succession from God or whatever it is. Also, the Quran, I don't know. I also never really read Quran, but I hear some people quoting sometimes here and there. So is it really coming from God? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Is it really coming from God? Yeah, it's difficult to say unless you really do complete comparative studies of all the scriptures. But who has enough time for this? I mean, our scriptures are so vast that now to go and study all these other scriptures would take half a lifetime. And I don't think you would gain much, because if you want to preach to these people based on their scriptures, you would waste so much time just arguing with them, because you cannot be better scholar in their own scriptures than them unless you devote half of your life in studying their scriptures and then trying to prove them on the basis of their own scripture. It would be very, very difficult. But it's good to know something informationally, at least, like that.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Okay, let us continue. Would like to read. First, Prabhu, you like to read? I can read Sanskrit.
Yes, Prabhu.
Tasmad daivopapanena munyanenapi dharmavit santusto ahar kuryan nitya naimitiki kriyaha.
Translation. Therefore, day by day, one who is actually aware of religious principles and is not heinously envious of poor animals should happily perform daily sacrifices, and those for certain occasions with whatever food is available easily by the grace of the Lord. Purport. The word dharmavit, meaning one who knows the actual purpose of religion, is very significant. As explained in the Bhagavad Gita 1866, Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Becoming Krishna conscious is the topmost stage of understanding of religious principles. One who reaches this stage performs the archana process of devotional service. Anyone, whether a grihastha or sannyasi, can keep small deities of the Lord suitably packed or, if possible, installed, and thus worship the deities of Radha Krishna, Sitaram, Lakshmi Narayan, Lord Jagannath, or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by offering food prepared in ghee and then offering the sanctified prasad to the forefathers, demigods, and other living entities as a matter of routine daily work. All the centers of our Krishna conscious movement have deity worship programs very nicely going on, in which food is offered to the deity and distributed to the first class Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and even to the people in general. This performance of sacrifice being complete satisfaction. This performance of sacrifice brings complete satisfaction. The members of the Krishna conscious movement engage daily in such transcendental activities. Thus, in our Krishna conscious movement, there is no question at all of killing animals. So, Prabhupada very clearly articulates that there is absolutely no room whatsoever and no question whatsoever of any animal sacrifice, and that whatever we do, we should offer first to deities and then accept the prasadam of that and distribute the prasadam to devotees, brahmanas, and the public in general. Interestingly, also says that we should first offer it to demigods and forefathers here as well, which is quite interesting. That's a summary, Prabhu.
Yeah, let me see. He says here and then offering the sanctified prasad to
Sorry.
the forefathers, demigods, and other living entities as matter of routine daily work. So
Sorry.
first,
Chakravarti Thakur's, was there anything there? I didn't look at the screen.
yeah, a little bit, one sentence was there.
Okay. Shantush means he does not commit violence to animals. Apologies, I forgot that.
Yeah, I don't think they really practice this offering prasad of the deity to forefathers, demigods, and other living entities, but we could, I mean, Pitri when we could offer something to our forefathers. To other living entities means you invite guests. And this is how you offer prasad to other living entities. To demigods, uh, sometimes, we offer to Lord Shiva, I think, or sorry, somebody's calling me. I need to switch it off. Yeah, in the our Rajapur temple here, We have a deity of Simantini Devi, and we have also Shiva Linga there. So whatever is first being offered to to Lord Jagannath, then we offer it to Lord Shiva and to Simantini Devi. Simantini Devi is together with Mahaprabhu. Okay, so let us continue reading.
Who is
Shantanu?
Samantha Devi?
Simantini Devi, she is the goddess of the island of Simantadvip, which is one of the islands of Navadvip. And basically, she's, you can say Mahamaya or even Yoga Maya, but mostly she's Parvati, the wife of Lord Shiva. Although in her higher aspects, she's also Yoga Maya who manifests the Dham. So there we have Mahaprabhu, and next to him sitting is the Simantini Devi. This was built maybe some 10, 15 years ago. Janivas Prabhu, he had that idea, and then we built that small temple just behind the Jagannath temple in Rajapur. Yeah, basically she's the wife of Lord Shiva, and there is a pastime of Simantini Devi and Mahaprabhu. How Simantini Devi, I don't recall the pastime exactly now, but she had some pastime Mahaprabhu, and she begged for his mercy, and Mahaprabhu gave her mercy, something like that. So basically, the energy of the Lord, one of the energies of the Lord, Simantini Devi. Okay, Shanti Rupa Mataji, like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Vidharma paradharmascha abhasa upamachalah adharma shakha panchema dharmagyo adharmavat dharmagyo adharmavat tajit. Translation. There are 5 branches of irreligion, appropriately known as irreligion, vidharma, religious principles for which one is unfit, paradharma, pretentious religion, abhasha, analogical religion, upadharma, and cheating religion, chaladharma. One who is aware of real religious life must abandon these 5 as irreligious. Purport. Any religious principles opposed to the principle of surrendering to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna are to be considered religious principles of irregularity or cheating, and one who is actually interested in religion must give them up. One should simply follow the instructions of Krishna and surrender unto him. To do this, of course, one needs very good intelligence, which may be awakened after many, many births through good association with devotees and the practice of Krishna consciousness. Everything but the principle of religion recommended by Krishna, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, should be given up as irreligion. So in this verse, we get to know about the 5 branches of irreligion. And we are supposed to give up, abandon these 5 as these 5 types of religion as irreligious activities. And Prabhupada in purport says that one must give up, anyone who is interested in actually in religion must give up these 5 principles of irreligion or cheating. This is cheating religion. And one should simply, the basic and the most important thing is to follow the instructions of Krishna and surrender unto him. So that is and because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna saying at the end in the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita is that Sarvadharman Parityajya means abandon all kinds of these kinds of religion and only surrender unto me. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. So Krishna is telling us that, so we should follow that.
Thank you, Mataji. It's interesting that Adharma can be divided in 5 branches.
Yes.
Vidharma is not really explained how they differ. Vidharma, how Vidharma differs from this Paradharma, religious principles for which one is unfit. Pretentious religion, Abhasa, so it's some sort of shadow religion. I guess somebody is pretending to be very religious, is dressing religiously, putting tilak and so on, but actually, he's just a cheater. Analogical religion, I'm not sure what this analogical means. Upadharma, Upadharma generally refers to sub-religious principles that are not really something very religious, but it's kind of some morality. Like this: don't steal, don't commit other sort of sinful activities. So it's upadharma, something before one becomes religious, at least he should follow the sub-religious principles. And then chala dharma, cheating religion. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would differ from pretentious religion, chala dharma, cheating. More or less, all of them are irreligion, adharma or vidharma, however you want to divide them. But we would need some more detailed explanation how they differ from each other, which we are not given here. All right, Gunaraj Prabhu would like to read.
Yes, Prabhu. धर्मबाधो विधर्मस्यात् परधर्मोऽन्य कोडितः उपधर्मस्तु पाखण्डो दम्भो वा शब्दविच्छलः. Translation: religious principles that abstract one from following his own religion are called vidharma. Religious principles introduced by others are called paradharma. A new type of religion created by one who is falsely proud and who opposes the principles of the Vedas is called upadharma. And interpretation by one's jugglery of words is called chaladharma.
Okay, so here we have
Yeah,
more detailed
yeah, we got
explanation.
more explanation. Yeah.
Okay.
Purport. To create a new type of dharma has become fashionable in this age. So-called swamis and yogis support that one may follow any type of religious system according to one's own choice, because all systems are ultimately the same. In Srimad Bhagavatam, however, such fashionable ideas are called vidharma because they go against one's own religious system. The real religious system is described by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Brija. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. The real religious system is that of surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. In the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in connection with Ajamila's deliverance, Yamarajas say, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.19. Real religion is that which is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as real law is that which is given by the government. No one can manufacture actual law at home, nor can one manufacture actual religion. Elsewhere it is said, Savipumsam parodharma yato bhaktir adhokshaje. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6. The real religious system is that which leads one to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, anything opposed to this religious system of progressive Krishna consciousness is called Vidharma, Paradharma, Upadharma or Chaladharma. Misinterpretation of Bhagavad Gita is Chaladharma. When Krishna directly says something and some rascal interprets it to mean something different, this is Chaladharma, a religious system of cheating or Sabdabit, a jugglery of words. One should be extremely careful to avoid these various types of cheating systems of religion. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura comments, the five forbidden categories are described, but not in exact order. Vidharma means that which cancels one's dharma when performed through one, though one thinks it is dharma. Performing someone else's dharma, duties and occupation is paradharma. Upama dharma or upadharma means something resembling dharma which is not dharma. It refers to pretenders who actually reject the Vedas, Pakanda, who dress up with matted locks and ashes and announce themselves as upholders of Dharma. Chaladharma refers to a person who explains the scriptures in another way, Sabdabit. For instance, the phrase, one should feed at least 10 Brahmanas can be interpreted to mean one should feed less than 10 Brahmanas. Another version as Sabdabrit, person who maintains the word dharma only but acts otherwise. If there is an injunction to give a cow, then the person will give a dying cow. In this because nowadays it is a trend that to create new religious systems, and that is what is condemned here, that claiming all paths lead to the same goal, something like that. But Srimad Bhagavatam is giving warning to such ideas as vidharma or false dharma. But the true religion is as told by the Supreme Lord, which means surrendering to Him alone. That is a Sarvadharman Paridhyajya Mamekam Sharanam Vija. Here Prabhupada also gives the example that only government can make legitimate law. The same way, only the Supreme Lord can establish the true religion. Any system that diverts the person from becoming a devotee of the Krishna is a deceptive or false religion. And Prabhupada explained that those misinterpretation of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatams, they are all called Chaladharma or Sabdabhikt, jugglery of words. And one should be avoid all these things. Yes, bro.
Okay, thank you. Yes. So we have some little clarification of these different types of adharma. Interesting here how Vishnu Charitaguru gives injunction how people can twist dharmic injunctions. For example, if there is a injunction to feed at least 10 brahmanas, just by slight twist or change of interpretation, instead of Shabda Bhit, you read it as Shabda Bhrit, and you change the meaning, and then you feed the less than 10 brahmanas. Or if there is injunction to give a cow, you give a dying cow because you don't need that cow anyway. So all sort of cheating can be introduced by those who want to cheat. And unless there is a strong Kshatriya government, this cheating cannot be stopped. And nowadays, there is no Kshatriya government at all. So that's why this cheating in the name of religion is going on everywhere, all over the world. And that's why the world is in a very poor state. All right. So we have Chatura Mataji. Would you like to read Chatura Mataji? Hare Krishna, Chatura Mataji, you there? We cannot hear you. You on your other device. Maybe your audio is not working. Yeah. Maybe you try to fix your audio and then you'll read maybe the next one. I'll read this one until you fix your audio. Somehow we cannot hear you. So 14. Yastva ichaya krita pumbir abaso yashamat prithak svabhava vihito dharma kasya nishta prashantaye. A pretentious religious system manufactured by one who willfully neglects the prescribed duties of his order of life is called abhasa, a dim reflection or false similarity. But if one performs the prescribed duties for his particular ashrama or varna, why are they not sufficient to mitigate all material distresses? So if one willfully neglects prescribed duties, means his varnashrama duties, then his dharma is called abhasa. He's really not doing his varnashrama duties. That's why his dharma is abhasa. He's not doing his varnashrama dharma duties. But if one, very dutifully follows his varnashrama duties, then that should be sufficient to mitigate his material suffering. Purport. It is indicated here that everyone should strictly follow the principles of Varna and Ashrama as given in the Shastra. In the Vishnu Purana, it is said, Varnashramachara bhata purushena parapuman Vishnu aradhyate pantha nanya tattosha karanam. One should focus upon the destination for progress, which is to become Krishna conscious. This is the aim and end of all varnas and ashramas. However, if Vishnu is not worshipped, the followers of the varnashrama institution manufacture some concocted god. Thus, it has now become fashionable for any rascal or fool to be elected god. And there are many missionaries who have concocted their own gods, giving up their relationship with the real God. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that one who worships the demigods has lost his intelligence. Nonetheless, we find that even an illiterate person who has lost all intelligence is elected God. And although he has a temple, it has meat-eating sannyasis, and many polluted activities go on there. This type of religious system, which misguides its poor followers, is strictly forbidden. Such pretentious religions should be stopped altogether. The original system is that the Brahmana should actually become a Brahmana. He should not only take a birth in a Brahmana family, but must also be qualified. Also, even if one is not born in a Brahmana family but has Brahminical qualifications, he must be considered Brahmana. By strictly following this system, one can be happy without extra endeavor. Svabhava bhito dharma kasya neshta prashantaye. The real aim of life is to mitigate distress, and one can do this very easily by following the principles of Shastra. Vishnu Thakur Abhasa is creating some form of Devata worship by one's imagination. Cannot Dharma, I don't know, this is a mistake, performed according to one's nature, not just one birth, cannot Dharma performed according to one's nature, not just one's birth, bring relief from distress. Yes, so even for the worship of the Devatas, that is found in Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, you have rules and regulations, and those who do not strictly follow these rules and regulations but worship the Devatas as they like, without following these rules, then they perform this abhasa, so-called dharma, abhasa vidharma, and of course they get no results, neither material nor spiritual. So Prabhupada here describes, many different concocted systems, meat-eating sannyasis. I guess, this is, something that exists even nowadays in some missions. I'm not sure whether in Ramakrishna mission they do this, but I think some conversation Prabhupada mentioned this meat-eating sannyasis, polluted activities, sannyasis having, lady companions and doing God knows what, missionaries, elected God, you become a social media star on the internet, and immediately they promote you to the status of God. So India is famous for many incarnations of God that pop up every now and then, and then after some time they discovered that actually they're not God. So also the Varnashram institution without the worship of Vishnu is condemned. Basically, it's condemned. If it just material social structure that doesn't lead anywhere. It functions only properly only when the worship of Vishnu is in the center of that Varnashram system. That's why when we speak about Varnashrama, we always say Daivi Varnashrama. We want Daivi Varnashrama. We don't want material Varnashrama. Everybody, material Varnashrama, everybody is just doing their own duties, but they're basically materialistically minded. They don't care for anything else. They just stick to their duties, and all they want, is their own self-gratification. But then in this sort of social system, how you're promoted, how you are uplifted to the higher stage of life. The whole system has to work in such a way that Vishnu is worshipped, that it's pleasing to God. Then all those people in that complex machinery of the Varnashrama system, even if they themselves are not, very God conscious or devoted, because they're part of something larger that is meant to satisfy God, then they also benefited, and gradually uplifted over lifetimes, over many lifetimes. But if they are part of just some materialistic social structure and nobody knows why we are doing this, then there is no real benefit apart from material organization. So in this Varnashrama structure, those who are leading that, who are heading that structure, like Brahmanas and especially Kshatriyas who are governing and ruling, if they are aware, if they have a clear goal, and if they are devotees of Vishnu or Krishna, and if they are leading all that social system, then everybody else under them is also benefited by following their Varna and Ashrama duties, even if these people are not strictly speaking, devotees. But if the head, the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, if they are not God conscious, then the whole system is just materialistic, even if outwardly, externally, it looks like a Varnashrama system. It's just a materialistic institution then. But it has to be centered on God, and that will depend on those who are leading it, from the government, basically, from the government. So government has to be God conscious to have a successful Varnashrama institution, to have a God centered Varnashrama institution. You need leaders of that institution to be God conscious. If they're not, then it's just materialistic counterpart or abhasa or shadow of the real Varnashrama, shadow of Daivi Varnashrama. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
It's slightly controversial, so forgive me.
Mm.
According to Prabhupada and Shastra, we are in the yuga we're in at the moment. We have only one left, which is Sudras. Now we're all supposed to be Sudras, and therefore, are we not committing abhas by effectively conducting the duties of the higher varnas, which we are not part of it, technically speaking? We're preaching, we're doing everything else, both in terms of ashram and in terms of varna. We're acting outside of our designated position in this Kali Yuga.
Yeah, but if you notice in this purport, Prabhupada is clearly saying that one's position as Brahmana is not according to one's birth. Even if one is not born in a Brahmana family but has a Brahminical qualification, he must be considered Brahmana. And then if he is considered a Brahmana by qualifications, he has a right to act as a Brahmana. So even if we are born as Shudras but we have a Brahminical qualifications, we can instruct others and preach because it's not by janma, it's not by birth. It's by guna and karma, by qualities and by activities. If we are brahmanas by qualities and activities, we have full right to instruct the rest of the society who are on a lower level of understanding. So this is how I see it. What do you think about that, Shailesh Prabhu?
Yeah, it's. I understand the philosophy. I understand exactly what you're saying here. But I mean, Prabhupada has repeatedly said there are no qualified brahmanas in this age.
They are not qualified by birth. And generally, when he says that, means those brahmanas who are very well versed and educated in performing these Vedic sacrifices, because this requires, many years of proper training and education, and that's why these sort of brahmanas, specialized yagya, karmakanda brahmanas, who can perform the sacrifices successfully and in a proper way, that they do not exist in that sense. But those who, who have Brahminical qualities in terms of, all these qualities Brahman is supposed to have, and who can preach God consciousness, they exist. Who can preach God consciousness. They might not be technically well versed as these Vedic karma kanda brahmanas, because they never studied for 20 or 30 years in Gurukula all these yagyas, so that's why they cannot technically perform these sacrifices. But it's a Kali Yuga anyway, and these sacrifices are not recommended to be performed anyway. So we are not missing so much on that. We need, preachers of Bhagavad Dharma, and if devotees have these, qualities of Brahmana, whether they are born as Brahman or Shudra, whatever they are, if they surrender to Mahaprabhu and take part in his mission, even if they are Shudras, still by nature, if they take part in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and distribute his books, for example, then they're giving the greatest benefit to everybody, regardless of their personal qualification. Because we are assisting Srila Prabhupada, who is certainly the topmost of all Brahmanas. So if we take part in helping Srila Prabhupada and other qualified Brahmanas, by serving them and trying to spread this mission, then there is no fault on our part. And we are not really in position nowadays, to instruct, know which government is going, to listen to us, more or less. So more or less we are doing the ground, the ground work, trying to reach common people here and there by distributing books and preaching on a large scale. But in terms of, instructing governments and those who are leading the countries, we're still very far from it. Even in India, I don't think that Indian government will much take into considerations, nor they will ask whatever ISKCON has to say about their political decisions. Certainly they will not ask. Neither we will dare to even give them any advice on leading the country. We might form some good relationship and get some government benefits, but this is how far it goes. It's not that they are expecting advice from us, nor we are in position to give them any advice how to lead the country. And then what to speak about other countries in the West. We are very, very far from having any influence on the politics. Okay. Chatura Mataji, are you able to hear us and speak now?
Hare Krishna, can you hear
Hare
me?
Krishna. Yeah, now we can hear you. Nice to hear you. Can you read, please?
I'm very difficult to connect with you. Last week, I cannot go into the room.
Yeah, look, it's like Chinese, big firewall is so difficult to to surpass. But you managed this time. You managed.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Text 7.15:15. Tama tam mapi neheta yacha tam vatano tanam niham manasha mahahe river ritita. Translation. Even if a man is poor, he should not endeavor to improve his economic condition just to maintain his body and soul together in order to become a famous religionist, just as a python, just as a great python, although lying in one place, not endeavoring for its livelihood, get the food it needs to maintain body and soul. One who is desirous also attains his livelihood without endeavor. Purport. Human life is simply meant for developing Krishna consciousness. One need not even try to earn a livelihood to maintain body and soul together. This is illustrated here by the example of the great python, which lies in one place, never going here and there to earn a livelihood to maintain itself, and yet is maintained by the grace of the law. As advised by Narada Muni, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18, Tashaye Vaheto Ho Prayatator Kavida. One should simply endeavor to increase his Krishna consciousness. One should not desire to do anything else, even to earn his livelihood. There are many, many examples of this attitude. Madhavan Jampuri, for instance, would never go to anyone to ask for food. Shukadeva Goswami has also said, Kasma Pajati Kavayo Tana Dumadan Dan. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.2.5. Why should one approach a person who is bright with wealth? Rather, one should depend on Krishna, and he will give everything. All the members of our Krishna consciousness movement, whether they be grihastas or sannyasis, should try to spread the Krishna consciousness movement, the process of ajagarariti, the means of livelihood of a python is very much appreciated in this regard. Even though one may be very poor, he should simply try to advance in Krishna consciousness and not endeavor to earn his livelihood. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, you scroll down. I cannot see the
Yeah, I'm
purport.
down, but looks like takes time. Till scrolls comes to China, it takes time.
Oh, yeah. A poor person should not desire money for maintaining his body. He should not strive for wealth. For one who does not desire the condition of being niskama or not acting produces his means of livelihood. Mahahe means a python. So in this verse, I mainly discuss especially the devotee in ISKCON should not strive to maintain his livelihood, and he should just depend everything on Lord Krishna. Even if a devotee is poor, he still should not work very hard to earn money to maintain his body and soul. So, but nowadays in ISKCON, we will find there are many devotees, they don't follow this instruction, also including me. So they in our practical life, I can see many devotees, they actually not follow this. They still want money. They want more and more money. And if you ask them why you still want more money, you still have you still have enough to maintain your family. Why do you still want more? And some of the devotee may answer, yes, I want to earn more money because we want to build a temple for the Lord, and we want to use this money for the Lord's service. So I don't know, how do you understand this situation? As for my understanding, I think this is one of the reasons, but not very reasonable. Just they made a reason for them to work hard for the money. So it's very common here in China.
I think not only in China, but everywhere in all ISKCON all over the world. And I don't think that I haven't heard anybody preaching this verse for many years. It's not very popular to preach at all, because even the leaders will not preach this, because we want people to have money in order to be able to give us donations. If they are poor and don't have money, how will they give to the temple? They will struggle also. So this is not the verse that is very popular amongst the preachers or leaders nowadays, but it contains the spiritual truth. It contains the truth, and Bhagavatam says that simply one who has no desires, his livelihood will be provided, because he dedicated himself to higher purpose, to obtaining God, to self-realization. Then his means of livelihood will be provided. Even Vishnu Thakur says here, his means nishkama, the condition of being nishkama or not acting, is what is producing his livelihood. So if you can reach this condition that you have no material desires, then your livelihood will be given to you, even if you don't work. But if you are sakhama, if you're full of material desires, and then you just pretend to be a python and don't work anything to fulfill all these material desires, then I'm not sure whether you will get everything you need to fulfill these desires. The point is that one has to completely dedicate himself to self-realization or developing Krishna consciousness. If he has fully, dedicating himself to that and surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will provide. So in theory, yes, we accept this. It's very nice. It sounds very nice, but in practice, it's very difficult to to apply it in our own life because we think, well, yeah, but if I can work a little more and earn more money, and then if I earn more than I need, then I will give it for the temple, as Chaturmataji said. I can give, for the temple. These are nice excuses, but behind this is our own insecurity. I never heard any of these devotees who are saying, yeah, I need more because, we will build a temple, this or that. Then people are just saying like this, but in reality, whatever money they earn extra, they will put on a bank account, savings, and God knows what. Hardly anybody will give that extra money for building a temple, unless he is really, really, rich. But even then, you have some rich devotees who I haven't seen giving too much to the temple. Actually, what I
Yeah,
noticed, yeah.
yeah, Papu, I remember, I still remember one thing. That is, if we don't follow these instructions, and we, like you say, maybe the management of the temple, they also want the grihasta to earn more money so that they can maintain the temple from their donation. And another point is that if you have this desire to earn more money, then Krishna will send some a cheater to in front of you, and they will cheat you. Then you can make more money from if you want to join our team or such like that. So in China, some devotees are cheated now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard also these cases, not once, but many times. Devotees went for some very dubious financial schemes,
Yeah, yeah,
different
yeah.
different sort of, multi-level marketing chains or some sort of trading. So many things you can invest money with the promises that quickly you will make a lot of money, big profit, and then you lose all your money. So
Yeah.
all this comes from these material desires. We want more and more, and more we have, actually more tight we become. This is what I notice. People who have more money, they're actually less generous than those who have little money. I've seen people who are quite poor, but they give, from the heart, uh, quite something for their own uh, financial status. And those who have, a lot, they're so stingy that it looks very, unpalatable when you see such rich people who gives 1 rupee or something like that. So actually, yeah, this is the fact. The more we have, more contracted our heart becomes because we want more and more and more. And for myself and for myself and for myself, I want more. And those who have hardly anything, for them it's not very difficult to part from half of their possessions or their wealth because they are not so much uh, engrossed in this me and mine and earning for myself. So that's why even from the spiritual perspective, it's not good for your consciousness, to try keeping for and working for more and more and more. It just degrades your consciousness, because you're working harder and harder for your own sense gratification, and you're becoming more and more blind towards the others, and developing some really undesirable qualities in this way.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
Bhagavatam is suggesting here, why? In Bhaganarda Muni here, he's not trying to attract any donations from from us or anything, so he can speak freely. He can speak freely what is actually the good for a person. And keep notice that he's telling this to Maharaj Yudhishthir, who is supposed to instruct his citizens in the same. Because Maharaj Yudhishthir, he could, after hearing this from Narada Muni, he is supposed to instruct citizens in his kingdom about the same knowledge. And he said, well, I want my citizens to be rich. I want that I can get taxes from them, and I can become rich. No, he's not that sort of person. He wants a spiritual benefit for his citizens. So similarly, temple leadership or ISKCON leadership should desire spiritual benefit for the devotees that they are leading. So without considering uh, donations or money, they should preach what is actually good for them, regardless of
Yeah.
donations.
Yeah. Prabhu, actually, you see, ISKCON devotees, as my examination, my observation, then most of the devotees, their consciousness is still located in the first chakra. You know the first chakra?
Yeah,
The
it's the lowest chakra, yeah.
Yeah, the still in consciousness is still in this first chakra, because the first chakra is responsible for the food and shelter. But if you still want more money, that means you don't you are not satisfied with your maintaining, and you not actually take shelter of the Lord. So that is a very big problem. Maybe we see we maybe our consciousness reaches to the fourth chakra, and maybe some will think maybe my consciousness reached to the sixth chakra, but actually they are still consciousness is still in the first chakra. So how can one how to say, go back to go ahead, if our consciousness is still in the first chakra?
We are
So
not so
that's
much, we are not so much concerned about these chakras, whether it's first, second, or third. Of course, you can equate it with the base chakras as the base consciousness, which only considers food, shelter, and basic material needs. But we want to develop, Krishna consciousness, whatever chakra it is. So. Uh, we have to practice seriously, to become serious devotees and give up material desires, and have only desire for Krishna prema. Then for sure we will not want to make extra money that we don't need, because we will have no desire for it. At the moment, most of us, we have material desires, a lot of material desires, and then we will use any possibility to fulfill these desires. And for to fulfill these desires, we need money, and then we will work hard to get this money, fulfill these desires. So the question is how to become akama, how to become nishkama, devoid of material desires. But that's only possible when we become truly desirous, for Krishna, when we develop strong desire for love of God, and that desire will neutralize all our material desires. Otherwise, it's very difficult to give up material desires. It's very difficult to be desireless, like a jnani who is nishkama, has no material desires. It's difficult process, to give up all material desires. But if we develop strong desire for Krishna prema, for developing pure love of God, then naturally all these other desires, material desires, will go away, because desire is one energy, and it can be directed either towards the material things or towards Krishna. So if we direct our desires towards Krishna, naturally our material desires will decrease and disappear, and then naturally we will not want these things. Naturally we are not going then to work hard. So it has to be natural. You cannot artificially, tell devotees, oh, do not work hard, do not earn too much money. It's artificial. They have themselves to realize that. They have themselves to give up their material desires. You cannot order them, oh, give up your material desires. You cannot give up material desires by force. If they are there in the heart, they're there. They can only give up these material desires by developing desire for Krishna consciousness, for Krishna, for Krishna prema. If they develop desire strong enough for Krishna, naturally all the material desires will go away very easily. So our way is to inspire people to develop a Krishna conscious desire, to develop spiritual desires. And then we will not, have to tell anybody, don't work too much, don't do this, don't do that. These are negative injunctions, but we want positive injunctions. Please develop, desires for Krishna consciousness. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yeah, but what I mean is that the seed of this material desire, for example, the food and shelter, they are located in the first chakra. If we don't observe what we are thinking and what the material desires we have, then we still consciousness is still very lower, maybe still mixed with the three gunas, not pure, not in a pure goodness. That is, if you know this, and then you when we have material desires, when we observe this, and you will become very careful, and you don't want to have so many material desires. Maybe you will have no material desires. Then we can advance very quickly, because this is what I practice in my daily life. Yeah.
Good, nice. Yeah, if we have to elevate our consciousness, and that will solve all the problems. Then our material needs will be also taken care by the Lord. If we
Yeah.
So we just have to have a faith. But if we are not that surrendered, then it's difficult to have a faith of whether Krishna will give me enough or not. There is always some doubt, some fear. What will happen if this happens and that happens, and I don't have enough money, I don't have enough security, whether Krishna will be there or not. It's always doubtful. That's why we think, oh, better I save up more just in case. Then the bigger bank balance I have, that will give me some security. So then we are taking shelter in our bank balance, in our material things. We are taking shelter instead of taking shelter in Krishna. But yeah, this is nice to say in theory, but to apply in practice, one has to have, realization, and there's no other way. But thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Definitely, it's nice that you are trying to make advancement and not to have so many material desires.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Thank you. Yes, Shailesh Prabhu.
Sorry, I think I'm going to be a bit blunt here. I think we need some maturity in our spiritual life, both maturity and honesty, and we should really focus on our own endeavors rather than trying to be judgmental of others. We don't know what other people's relationship is with Krishna, what their endeavors are, whether we shouldn't try and label them as being materialistic or whatever. Yeah, their endeavor is genuinely to please Krishna, then it's between them and Krishna. Really, it's not for us to judge. I think that's the primary principle of Vaishnavism, is that we should be honest in our own integrity of what we're endeavoring, whether it's for our material desires or whether it's to please Krishna. So endeavors are always going to be there, but if it's for our own material, Prabhupada repeats repeatedly on many occasions that if we continue to endeavor for our sense of gratification, then that is materially bound. If we're endeavoring for Krishna's pleasure, then that becomes spiritual, no matter how hard that endeavor is. Prabhupada himself endeavored for so long in his earlier days to try and make his businesses work. Krishna's will was that it didn't work, but it didn't stop him endeavoring hard, because ultimately he was trying to do it for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna has a different plan for him. Likewise, I think people may have. I mean, if your varna is that you're a Vaishya, then you will want to make money. So long as you're making money in order to please Krishna and to give to Krishna, then that endeavor is spiritual, is it not?
Yeah, correct. If he's really doing it for Krishna, yeah. But only that person and Krishna knows. So we should not judge, as you rightly pointed out. We should, judge only ourselves, not look what other people are doing, how much money there. It's their business, and it's between them and Krishna. So it's not our business to judge other people's, but we should just, judge ourselves if we want to judge anybody, and look our consciousness, not to try to make judgment. Thank you, Prabhu. This is good point.
Yeah, Prabhu, actually, I don't want to judge anybody, but you see in our practical life, this devotee who has very much material desire, they try to invite us to join them. That is the problem. We don't want to judge anybody. They want to influence us, the other devotees. They say then you can make some money very easily, and so why don't you join us? That is the
Oh,
problem.
okay.
You know.
They wanted you to join in some material in these financial schemes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just tell them thank you. You do it. I have enough. I donate. I have enough. I'm satisfied. Just tell them like this, and let them find the other victims.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you don't have some judgment, how can you identify those persons? Yeah. So sometimes it's not only say we want to judge others. No, we don't want. But others want us to join them for the material gain.
Yeah, actually, reminded me some maybe 25 years ago when I was still young. I remember one devotee coming to me with the one multi-level marketing scheme, and he was telling me how we are going to buy a boat for Krishna, and then we will
Yeah, yeah,
preach and go on the sea. And that time I was very young and unexperienced, and I gave him the money actually. I was foolish enough to give him the money. It was a lot at that time for me. Basically, everything I had, I gave him. And of course, it was lost. It was lost. It was gone in a second. I didn't get it. I didn't get it back. And the boat also never manifested. And I didn't see that devotee for many years. I think I saw him only a year or two ago. I met him after so many years, and he kind of apologized. I said, "I'm sorry. I'm still trying to earn money, but once I make a lot of money, I will give this back to you that you lost." I told him, "Just forget it. No need. It's okay." But yeah, we should have some judgment not to fall in these quick money making schemes that are basically driven by greed. That is just driven by greed. So yeah, judgment is required, but without judging others. So if they want to do it, let them do it. But we should not become a victim of it.
yeah, yeah. That's good.
Thank you, everybody. I think we came to the end, and we'll continue next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is no festival, or what is it? 13th. I think it's a normal day. Should not be anything. When is actually Janmashtami is which date?
In London, it's Saturday, Sunday, the festivals, but
Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so this is when
here in London, it's Saturday.
16 and 17, Prabhu.
16 is also same basically. Yeah. Okay, I think then next week should be okay for most of us. So see you all then next Wednesday. Thank you all very much. Vanchakala Patrubhasya Kripa
Patitavya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.